try it with the resonance all the way at the max. And there we not only have some kind of very gritty sounds, but some very crunchy and distorted sounds too. Kind of like what we heard with the low pass, high pass notch demos that preceded this video. Okay, so there you go. Those are the two bandpass versions right there. So really when you listen to these, you may just want to kind of make your own comparisons, make your own mental notes. Which ones do I like? Which filter do I like better? Which one do I prefer? If I do have a preference of one over the other. Me personally, I couldn't really decide, I guess. I'm kind of glad that I actually have both, because there are some situations where I would kind of prefer this type of sound, and then other situations where I might prefer something like this, a little more kind of straightforward and not quite as gritty, but I kind of like that kind of gritty, kind of textural type sound that comes out of that as well. Now, I would be kind of remiss if I didn't actually demonstrate a little bit on the A106-5, this particular advantage that it has over the A124, and that's the polarized CV input. So I'm going to go into audio in again on the A106-5, unpatch my output from my envelope generator over here, and then patch it into here. And this might be a little bit of excuse me, review for those of you who saw the demonstration earlier in the series on the A106-5 of the polarized input. But right now we're doing the positive version of the input on the clockwise side of the CV input number 2 on the A106-5. So if I flip over to this side, I get the inverted version of the incoming CV. So my envelope generator is going into here and then being inverted. Kind of a different sound. And then you can get any flavor in there in between. Kind of add to your palette of sounds. Now, under ideal circumstances, of course, if you had to choose one over the other, most of you would probably say, well, I'd rather have both. And then that actually kind of leads to another part of this demo that I would like to do, and that would be maybe just patching a couple of the filters together and combining. So let me take the bandpass, I already have that in there, and I'm going to use a different cable for this, because I'm going to take two versions of the saw. So this is a stack cable, and I'm going to take that and go right into, let's do the low pass of this filter. Yeah, low pass, and I'm going to patch into audio in right there. And then I'm going to take a copy of that saw wave, and then listen to the bandpass of the Wasp. So now we have both filters playing together. I can adjust the frequency cutoff of both separately. Probably want to turn the resonance down just a little bit. And since I do have that flexibility now of having both filters going at the same time, my envelope generator is not going to either one, so let me actually get it set up going to this one. So I'll just patch it in there. I'll just find a setting that I kind of like. Okay, and now I can take my output from my second output from my envelope generator and patch it into the polarized input over here. Maybe do an inverted version of that same envelope going to the A106 filter. Just yet another experiment, not necessarily any specific type of effect other than blending the two filters now. Whereas before we were just kind of comparing, I'm going to use this all by itself, or I'm going to use all that by itself. And just to show you that they can kind of play nice together too, depending on what you're using. So at any rate, that's going to wrap up the series on the A106-5. We covered quite a bit of ground over the last few videos. Let me go ahead and stop this guy. There we go. Unpatch audio. Covered quite a bit of ground with the A106-5 and also doing a few demos of the sort of comparing and contrasting the sound of these two filters. In essence, they're very different sounding filters. You might see some overlap in them, but definitely stylistically very different approaches to the way you want the final sound to come out. I'm not entirely sure what the next series for Doepfer modules will be, but hopefully you'll join us for that. As always, please leave feedback on the video page if you have anything that you'd like to share about this particular series or any other series that you might be interested in. I do regularly check my YouTube comments and respond to them personally whenever I get a chance. Sometimes I let them kind of pile up, so it might be, maybe 1 or 2 weeks or maybe more in some cases to respond, but I do promise that I will get back to you as well. Now, if you guys have any suggestions for any future demos that you would like to see, like for example down here at the bottom, I've gotten a couple of requests for this one, although I wouldn't say, a large group for the A143-1 because I haven't ever done a series on that one. I've also had some requests for the A111, which is kind of off camera down here at the bottom. But just let me know what you think. And of course, for those of you who do watch regularly, Raul's World of Synths, let me know what you think of this new setup. I haven't heard any feedback yet. To the contrary of laying it out with the MIDI CV interface as opposed to the standard sequencer setup, which takes up quite a bit of time of our normal videos. And so if you guys think this is a little more of an efficient way to go, I'll sort of prefer to keep that if all of you kind of agree to it. At any rate, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.